What's up guys, welcome to the channel, thank you for visiting, and we're going to go straight into it. What is the difference between rent-to-rent HMOs and rent-to-rent serviced accommodation? Zayyan Amani here to help you within your property journeys, rent-to-rent journeys, online marketing journeys, and business in friggin' general. Let's go. So you're thinking about getting into rent-to-rent and you're just not sure about whether you want to do rent-to-rent HMO or if you want to do rent-to-rent serviced accommodation. So I'm going to be outlining the benefits and the drawbacks of each and my personal opinion on what you should really be doing. Okay, so let's just get right into it. We're going to start off with HMOs. Now, HMO is a house of multiple occupation. This is where there are unrelated individuals living in a house in a room by room basis where they will be paying for the rooms, not the entire place. Typically, you're going to be seeing this in like a student accommodation. Like if any of you guys went to university, you most likely stayed in some halls or you stayed in a student house share where you were paying for your own room. And you could imagine how much rent that the landlord was making, okay? Now, serviced accommodation is typically where a property, a flat, a room, or a house would be rented on a short-term contract or a short-term accommodation. Typical scenarios like, for example, if you guys, I'm sure, have been booking a place on Airbnb or booking.com, if you booked an apartment or a home, that's the same thing as a serviced accommodation where everything you would almost expect in a hotel but is going to be in a home. Okay, and now these sort of scenario in terms of the people that will be coming are maybe families, holiday makers, or companies that are working in the area for maybe a month or so. That's where the tenants, if you will, would be booking serviced accommodation over, you know, a hotel, for example. Now, I'm going to just basically go into the benefits of a HMO and the benefits of a SA and also the drawbacks of each and my personal opinion on those. The benefits of a HMO are as follows. I think that the upfront costs are a little bit less than a serviced accommodation if we're talking about, let's say, the same size property, okay? So you're gonna have standardized rooms in all of the rooms, okay? You're just gonna have a bed, wardrobe, working table, and things of that nature, and you can just standardize that across the rooms and you're gonna know what the cost is gonna be. You generally don't have to do many soft furnishings, but if you do, it will make the quality of the property better and more inclined for people to want to stay at the property, but it's not necessary, okay? And another benefit is that once your rooms have been filled and rented, you know exactly how much every single month you are going to make. So let's say you have a 5-bedroom house, rent is £1,000, £500 for bills and council tax, etc. 5 double bedrooms at £500 each, you're making £2,500 a month minus the expenses of 1.5. You are making £1,000 profit per month, and you know that as long as the rooms are filled at those rates, you will be making that every single month. And in my opinion, that's a really nice thing to have because you know, hey, whatever happening, I know that I'm getting this amount of money guaranteed. So that's one of the reasons why I really like that HMO style. With a serviced accommodation, on the other hand, your expenses to begin with might be a little bit more because you're gonna have to do a lot of cutlery, kitchenware. You're gonna have to decorate nicely, like, I don't know, all this kind of crap I've got in my room. Maybe you're gonna wanna decorate the property like that, make it more attractive for people to book, you know, the property. So the upfront cost might be more. Depending on how you've negotiated with the landlord, whoever you've taken the property off, maybe you've negotiated, you know, them to furnish it, which is ideally, you know, what we do and what we teach people to do, and just trying to drive down those initial costs. But other than that, you know, the setup of it is pretty quick, and I think a benefit of serviced accommodation is that you can list it before you've even started, and like you could get, you know, let's say I'm starting now at this let's say I've secured the property, but it's not going to be starting until December. It's November right now, or coming up to November. So let's say I'm starting everything in November. I'm listing the property online, things of that nature, and now that's getting booked for December. So I'm getting pre-bookings, like, you know, before it comes in, and I quite like that in terms of like how it works and the comfortability that I have. That, you know, I know that I can be making money in that sort of fashion. But some people don't like it. Some people think like it's really risky, people get anxiety. So I would say, you know, if you're a very risk averse person, or, you know, you're quite anxious, I think rent-to-rent HMO would be more suited to you. It is more upfront work to begin with because you have to fill the rooms, but once the rooms are filled, you know, you can kind of rest for say 6 months if they're on a 6-month contract until you have to start finding new tenants again. Whereas with serviced accommodation, you know, you're constantly turning over, and, you know, you're getting people in for a week, and then maybe you don't know where your next booking's coming in. But sometimes it's really good. You have to basically take control of your own destiny, take control of your own business, and try and get direct bookings, calling up companies, getting you know, businesses, or calling up HR or the NHS or whoever to come and stay at your property. Let people know who you are and what you do, basically. So the drawback of the HMO, which I mentioned before, in my personal opinion, is generally just like the upfront work. You know, you have to do a lot more upfront work. But once it's done, and when I say upfront work, I mean, you know, you're setting up the property, you're marketing the property, you're doing viewings, getting people in. You might have to view 30 people before all 5 rooms are filled. You might have to view more. So it's up to you to, you know, be very competitive with your rates, but not just with your rates, but also with your marketing, and also with the dressing of the property. You want to make it look as attractive as you can, so you can beat the other competition who might be undercutting everyone else. And then the drawbacks for serviced accommodation are basically that, you know, there's a lot of work. There's a lot more work to do. There's a high turnover of people coming in, cleaners and, you know, operations and stuff. But if you can get it systemized, you know, having automated services and automated messages and automated, you know, emails going out to the cleaners whenever there's a booking and what date that they need to be cleaned, then it can be really passive. And the thing which is about serviced accommodation, which I like more now, ever since coronavirus happened, I kind of pivoted my business model, is that I'm not doing short-term accommodation. We're actually doing what I like to call mid-term accommodation, where people are staying for maybe 1 month. 1 month is for me now still quite short term, but we're aiming for 2-3 month stays where we're not really doing a lot of work. It's a self-serviced, stay where they would be doing their own cleaning, you know, washing their own linen and things like that. If they want us to do it, we would charge more, but that's typically what I believe a mid-term accommodation stay is. That midterm let, I think, if that's what you want to call it. And that, in my personal opinion, that's where I believe the money is, because it's a lot more secure as well, because I know, hey, you know, for these 3 months I'm getting X, Y, and Z profit, and it's better as well because there's no contracts, no ASTs that have to be signed, and that's always better for, you know, if there are any issues, like, you know, having to evict people and things like that. It is better that way. Guys, I hope that helped you just a little bit understand the difference between a HMO and a serviced accommodation, a little bit about the benefits of each and the drawbacks of each. I hope it gave you a little bit more clarity on what you guys want to do. Just so you know, I actually do both strategies. I do have more serviced accommodations than HMOs. However, with a HMO, there is a strategy that we teach that you can actually pull out all of your money in the first month. So you actually break even in the first month, which is absolutely amazing. And then you can actually use that funds to recycle, like it's almost like recycling your cash to then take on another property. And you can scale very quickly with a HMO business model. With serviced accommodation, then we don't currently have a strategy where you can pull out all of your money in the first month, but with HMOs we do have that strategy. So if you are interested in learning a little bit about that, just reach out to me directly, and we can talk about, you know, maybe mentoring you guys and, you know, seeing how we can help you. So guys, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.